Live from New York. It's the show that just did some trivia, and I'll tell you what.
You guys did well on that one. Not quite as well.
Brew crushed it.
Well, Brian Sipe.
Shout out to Brian Sipe.
He doesn't get the love he deserves.
He does on
He's
this show.
an MVP.
On this show, he does.
He's like the opposite of Jaquaski Tart on this show.
No,
All we do
I'm
is
done.
You know what?
I'm
It's
done
actually
ripping Jaquaski.
similar because they are only brought up in the only time Brian Sipe and poor Rich Gannon make the show is when Brew is trying to make the point. You don't have to be great to win MVP. Exactly.
You know who gets the most love on this show? It's a show trivia of the trivia. What quarterback gets more shout-outs by 100-fold on this show than any other show in history?
Tell us.
Otto Graham.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about OG like you wouldn't believe.
You know who
was the man.
occasionally gets dipped in more on this show than others? Sid Luckman as well.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever Danny's like best Bears quarterback ever,
You can't
the
forget
Luckman family's like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. We exist.
Today, Belichick shut out of the Hall of Fame. Fair, mean-spirited, or a voting quirk? Meanwhile, report that Drake Maye has been dealing with a shoulder issue. Why does this make me more confident?
Because every single thing that could happen makes you more confident.
Exactly.
And so far, you've been right. But literally nothing could not make you more confident. Him playing a bunch of bad games in a row is good. If he's playing a bunch of good games in a row, it's good. If the other team's on a long winning streak, awesome. If the other team's looked bad, even better. Everything makes you feel good. That's
really
great.
like
That's
a life
good.
philosophy.
Yeah.
I feel like my podcast should be more popular if I'm out here
full.
spitting facts.
Glass half full.
Special Dynasty edition of Tears. Very controversial, this Tears. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I think you make good points. We'll get to
We didn't even talk about it.
I know where you're going now.
Oh, good. Alongside Chris Broussard and Kevin Wildes. Why do you think these Tears are so controversial?
I don't think they're controversial, but listen. I did these tiers. The committee did these tiers because of a segment you did 2 months ago that Brew and I instantly mocked, and I want to give it a little kernel of hope.
What segment was that?
That the Patriots aren't on the doorstep of winning a championship, that they're on the doorstep of starting a dynasty.
No, I said here's
Dynasty DNA, and you made some stupid thing about OSHA
DNA.
inspectors or something.
Just saying, if there was a bunch of
You're a little bit ahead of
over there.
You're a little bit ahead of yourself.
Look, the warehouse is not on fire, but look, there's some elements there. Don't start smoking around here.
Get it. But that's why I did it.
We start with the greatest coach of all time. He will not be in the Hall of Fame, at least not right now. He needed 40 of 50 votes and came up short. He's first in wins, first in appearances, first in playoff wins. And by the way, I count his Giants rings. So he's got 8 total Super Bowl rings wherever he keeps them. Sometimes he lets Jordan wear one, so maybe he has 7. Before we get to your reaction, here's Tom Brady's reaction.
I don't understand it. I mean, I was with them every day. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is completely ridiculous because people deserve it. And he's incredible. There's no coach I'd ever want to play for. I'd rather play for. If I'm picking one coach to go out there to win a Super Bowl, give me one season, I'm taking Bill Belichick.
Thank you, GOAT. Quick update because I confused Brew. He lets his girlfriend, partner, Jordan wear his ring, not Michael.
I'm supposed to but I knew her first name was Jordan.
Yes,
I knew that's where.
But if Michael Jordan asked, like, "Hey, want to trade rings like baseball
that's what
cards?"
I thought you meant. Like at one of the North Carolina games, Jordan was wearing a Patriots ring. I mean,
that would be
and
sick.
Bill was wearing a Bulls ring. Like.
All right, your reaction to this news.
All right. Glass 1/10 full.
Okay.
Really, really awful unintentional mistake.
Yes.
And I do not think this is what happened. However, I do not think it is impossible that when that committee is voting and they know only 3 guys can get in, that there were at least 11 people that said, you know what, I really want to make sure this person gets in. Belichick's not going to need my vote.
Yep.
And so I'm going to use my vote for these 3 guys, leave Belichick out, and then they count the votes and like, oh, man. I think that is in a very minute way on the board.
I
don't think it can be dismissed. If that is not what happened, and I don't think that's what happened, then I must say, while I believe Bill Belichick is the greatest coach ever, I believe that Bill Belichick, not Tom Brady, was the driving force of the first dynasty the Patriots had, those first 3 championships, and I think he's the greatest defensive mind of all time. If he is being made to wait a year because of multiple confirmed, penalized cheating scandals, I don't find it to be the crime against football that seemingly everyone else does. If he were to be kept out entirely, that would be outrageous. But a slap on the wrist from the committee for what was, according to the NFL, more than a half-decade-long Spygate fiasco that people forget popped its head back up a decade later when they were weirdly recording the Bengals sideline. I mean, so I'm just telling.
Bengals were like a 3-win team or something.
I understand, but that did happen. I mean, you can say all that.
I think we lost. I think the team got fined or something.
Exactly. And so if the voters decided this is going to be your penance, or at least 11 of them did, I don't find that to be wholly and entirely outrageous the way seemingly almost everyone else associated with this story has said they find it to be outrageous.
Well, yeah, I've listened to a lot of the pundits talk about it, and they're giving reasons, possible reasons, and even you to some degree, Nick. Some people are saying, he wasn't nice to the media.
Yeah.
Okay. Others are saying he's still coaching now, like North Carolina, so maybe they want to wait till he's fully done coaching. Others are saying Kenny Anderson and L.C. Greenwood got to get in, so, Bill can wait and all that. It's all hogwash.
Okay.
There is only one explanation for Bill Belichick not getting in on the first ballot, and that is cheating. That's it. If you didn't vote for Bill Belichick for any other reason, you shouldn't be a voter. In fact, I was talking with Greg earlier about it, Greg Jennings. There are some people we could argue shouldn't even be on the ballot. Bill Belichick comes up, he's just in. He's just in. It's not even a vote.
Shouldn't be on the ballot because
Tom Brady, there's no vote. He's in. There are some people that you could do that. Belichick's in that class. So if you actually voted against him because of some reason other than cheating, you should not vote. You do not deserve a vote. This is too important. I'm with you, Nick. If it is and I'm convinced it's the cheating, then I'm totally fine with it. When you cheat, you got nothing to say. Yeah, you got a little slap on the wrist with the $500,000 fine, I think it was. You lost the draft pick. But you were cheating for 7 years. From the moment he got to the Patriots in 2000, they said he was cheating. All right? And then they won those Super Bowls. Those first 3 Super Bowls, which were between 2000 and 2007, they won them by 3 points each. In world-class sports, the difference between a gold medal and not medaling at all is this. If that cheating gives you this much advantage, you got an advantage. He's lucky that this is it. Nobody's taking his 6 Super Bowls or his first 3 from him.
No, we should, though. We should have it.
No, it's too late now.
Excuse me. We need the rings back. Take down the banners.
Look,
everybody.
It's too late. Everybody. What do you mean everybody?
Well, it's going to stain Belichick. You're going to smear the entire Patriots organization.
That
was in this run.
Hold on. Who's in charge?
Well, Belichick was the architect of it. It started when he got there.
Well, if you're saying if Tom Brady just won these Super Bowls by this much,
Brady may have been not even knowing about it. Brady's just out there playing.
But if they're the beneficiaries,
Belichick
the Rams should win.
Well, look, that's a whole different argument. But my point is that he cheated, so that's the only reason they could not put him in the Hall of Fame. And remember, we don't even know how big this is. The league destroyed the videotapes, 8 of them. The league destroyed the notes that the Patriots had on the cheating, all of it, during the investigation. They didn't want us to see What else is out there? So I'm just saying, I'm not saying he should never get in, but I'm fine with a slap on the wrist, a reminder, hey, we know you didn't do it all above board, so you're going to wait a year or two.
I think it's epically lame. And I have a funny take and I have a serious take. I'll give the funny one first.
Sure.
The funny take is, if you want to keep him out forever, that it's going to be like PEDs, you cheated, you cannot go into the Hall of Fame, I almost respect that more than being put in timeout like you're in third grade. Bill Belichick, sit on the curb, write me go on the chalkboard. I will not tape games anymore. I promise when I'm playing, Rutgers, I won't tape the sidelines, and then I'll read your essay and your apology, and I'll let you into the Hall of Fame. That's the funny take. The serious take.
I mean,
I thought it was.
That's what they're doing.
You know what? I'll be honest with you.
It's fine. That's what
the serious take started to sneak in there.
Yeah, it seemed like it.
Here's the serious take. And I might ruin the show, but it might be good. So
I hope you don't ruin it.
We're going to gamble. It might be good, might ruin the show. We got our 401k statements. I don't know if you guys contribute to the 401k. And that's for the future, right? And I looked at it. I never look at my 401k. But I took a screenshot of it and sent it to my wife. I'm like, hey, this is for our future, and we never talk about it. But if I get hit by a snowplow, don't forget that we've got this money in the Fox 401k.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying this is playing willy-nilly and trying to give people a slap on the wrist for a lifetime of work because you think you're going to vote him in next year or that they're going to be there to vote him in next year, I think is ignoring mortality and the fact that we're all fragile here. So I understand your guys' take, but man, I think that it's playing loose and fast with just like tomorrow's guaranteed. No, give him a slap on the wrist for taping tomorrow, and he'll get in next year. Well, what if he doesn't?
No, but hold on. Can I?
And that really gets, and I know it's like kind of like a odd take, but it really gets me mad because I feel like it's an insult to a guy's entire life.
So a couple things, and I'll meet you where you're at in a positive way. So of all the things you do to ruin the show, talk about you're so wealthy you don't check your 401k. It's not going to ruin the show.
You're not supposed to check it.
So
you're not be like, well,
don't ever tell Nick and I we can't talk about the 70s.
Yeah. So
you're not supposed to check your 401k.
No, I got it, but that's not. So it's no problem.
You should be contributing.
So I first listen to in 2006, Major League Baseball was like, we're going to try to right the wrong of basically ignoring the Negro Leagues. Right. And we are going to let in a ton of Negro Leaguers and have a committee. And the person that was in large part responsible for that effort, that everyone thought was a lock, was my dear friend, even though he was 70 years older than me, growing up, the great Buck O'Neil.
This isn't a great story. I love that you were friends with Buck O'Neil.
And somehow they picked 17 people to get in. Buck was not one of them, and he died a few months later.
See, that's...
And he got in 2004, posthumously. Mm-hmm. So I totally understand what you're saying if the people who didn't vote for him were simply saying that we are putting you in timeout. Where I disagree with you is, I think the people who didn't vote for him, if Brew and I are right, and it was about the cheating, they were saying, you are not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And that is something that does matter. While it might not show up on your plaque, like, look, after T.O. was made to wait and Randy got in first ballot, read what people talked about Randy saying I'm first ballot. So I am drawing a distinction that I think is relevant. And again, if your argument is this is nonsense, and I think your real belief, I don't want to put words in your mouth, is that Brew and I are using the word cheating too liberally, because I don't think you view it as cheating the way Brew and I might.
I think it's towing the line.
That's towing the line, and
But
and
cheating,
so that's
I'm not gonna
right. And
go
we
to
don't. And I don't think we have to
mattresses
relitigate what Spygate was. But I think the voters were saying you don't deserve the most sterling designation. And what I'm saying is, if I were in the room, I would have voted for him because I am not as bothered by it as some. But it is not incomprehensible to me.
Right.
And so, like if there are certain things where, when a guy retires, when Peyton Manning comes up, it will be incomprehensible to me. When LeBron comes up, when Jordan came up, incomprehensible to me. This one, I do understand why 22% of the room might have said no. I get it. Even if I wouldn't have done it, I get it.
I don't think it doesn't bother me as much as some other people either. I wasn't even thinking about it. When I first heard the news after our show yesterday, I was like, what? That's ridiculous. He's not first ballot. But to your point, if they did want to punish him for a year or whatever, I'm fine with it.
I mean,
I think he's
is just like gets my blood.
Well, when
boiling.
you do something wrong, you get punished.
He was.
That's our. That
wasn't. They were punished. The franchise was.
That
punished.
was a slap on the wrist, just like
but now
I
you got 11
the Red
guys
Sox got
going rogue.
Like,
you know what? I'm
or the
Astros.
I'm gonna get my licks into. 11 people.
I'm fine with it because
20 years later, let me get my shots.
But hold on.
Hold on. You're fortunate. Nobody's taking those Super Bowls, like I said. And in baseball, you might not be in the Hall of Fame.
They should be. This is
no, but that's been adjudicated.
I agree.
The NFL didn't vacate anything, whatever. But this is a separate body. The Hall of Fame did not get to rule on that. That's what I'm saying. The NFL made its ruling. You don't lose any wins. You don't lose any records. You don't lose any banners.
Right.
Nothing. It's not the Wikipedia page for college, John Calipari at UConn, where the NCAA vacated something. That was the NFL's ruling. Mm-hmm. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is a different body that does not get to make any ruling on anyone until they come up on their ballot.
They should follow the lead.
No, they have their own authority.
I think they did follow. And I guess what I'm saying is I feel they did follow the league. When the league says of every instance of, let's just call it this century, of malfeasance by a team or a coach, we find this coach the most. From the team, we took the biggest pick we have taken from anyone. The league said we could, whether they should have or not, the league adjudicated this a felony. And then the Hall of Fame is waiting and is going to adjudicate it on their own as well. To me, my read on it is they did the same thing.
So this would be my final statement where we can kick it around. If that's the case and you have a strong, principled stance against taping the sidelines, which to my knowledge was not a Belichick original, then come out and say, I voted against Belichick.
Oh,
Bill Polian walked
with that.
I'm with you with that.
Polian is
I didn't vote for him.
Polian's a weasel.
I voted against Belichick.
Polian didn't vote for him. He should. I agree with that. You should admit I didn't vote for him because of the cheating scandal. And I will vote for him next year, but this year,
but someone's got to do it. If it's that principle,
I agree. That part, I totally. And Jimmy Johnson said today, everyone's going to claim they voted for him, and they're, obviously, he thinks a lot of them were lying to him about whether did or did not vote for him. I have not been. I think there's a lot of things that still to this day cause consternation amongst football fans. That if you're like, where did this start? And it's like, Bill Polian did that too. So I'm not a fan of. So I am not on those guys' side. I'm not, and I do agree that it would be useful if somebody said, hey, I don't know who the other 10 were, but I'm one of the 11, and here's why.
You know what? It might be 25.
Right. It could be.
We don't know.
It could be a lot.
Yeah.
For the record, and Colin Cowherd brought this up on his show, The Herd, Vince Lombardi and Bill Parcells and maybe several other coaches, I think he mentioned Bill Walsh, are not first ballot.
Well, they
Hall
also
of Fame.
changed how it works because they used to have to compete with the players.
Okay.
But
so
it was they were in the mix.
But still,
with the players.
all those guys, Joe Gibbs too, you would be like, they're in automatically.
One final, this will actually be the final thing where we get to Giannis asking out. Mike Sandor wrote, I would see this ruling against Belichick as a repudiation.
Repudiation.
Don't correct me.
He's doing you a favor.
I would see this as a repudiation. You do that privately.
Sorry,
We'll retape it. Sorry. I would see this as a repudiation of the new voting rules implemented for 2025, not
I agree with
of
that.
Belichick or any candidate not making it. So we might just be arguing into the wind if it's like a
Well,
protest.
but so I disagree with Sando in this regard. If there wasn't something else there of the 5 people eligible, he was the easiest one to get the vote for. Him,
he's automatic.
Kraft, and the 3 you mentioned, L.C. Greenwood,
Ken Anderson, Roger Craig.
Right, those so that I think Sando's great at what he does. I disagree with his analysis.
If for any other reason, he's automatic.
Okay. All right, we're going to get to Giannis right now. News out of Milwaukee. Giannis ready to go. Sean's reporting that the Bucks are ready to listen to offers that would end Giannis's 13-year tenure in Milwaukee. Currently nursing that injured calf, 4 to 6 weeks that he's self-diagnosed, but I bought it. Brew, your reaction.
Well, just a complete mishandling by both the Bucks and Giannis. All right. So if I'm the Bucks at this point, I'm not saying I wouldn't trade him before the deadline, but my preference, unless I get a great deal, will be to trade him this summer. I think they'll get more for him this summer. He's hurt. All right, and there's no determination of when he will be back. He said 4 to 6 weeks. The reports are officially it's no time for him to come back. We don't know when he's coming back. I used to be on Houston should trade Şengün for him. San Antonio should even go for him. I no longer think those teams should make a move. All right, San Antonio, I definitely wouldn't break up my young core for Giannis. He is in his 13th year, and he's missed 30 games the last 2 years. It's going to be more than 30. We're only halfway through this season. So, and then if I'm Houston, I would play out this season, see how it goes, and then maybe in the summer, if we don't win the championship or get to the finals, in the summer I would look at doing it. But right now, with him being hurt, and then the adjustment period, Giannis is such a great player. It's not like dumping in a role player or a Kevin Durant who just shoots. So I think it would be they should stand pat. The 2 teams, and I guess you can throw in Atlanta, Nick, if you want. The 2 teams I definitely think should go for him are the Knicks, because it's not, I know they've won 3 straight, but it's not going well there. If you can get him for Cat and something else, do it. Or Golden State. Draymond, Kuminga, whatever, I guess if they would take Butler, but I don't think you need Draymond and Giannis. So I would try to do it if I'm one of those 2 teams. But outside of that, I think it's kind of a little too late.
So I disagree with you that they would get more this summer than right now, because right now there's the possibility you get Giannis for this playoff run, and this summer there's anything you would get by trading for him this summer, you would also get by trading for him now with maybe something additional.
Do it this year.
I made 3 trades.
Love it.
That I can't make a Knicks trade work. I blame the second apron and CBA and the fact that the Knicks have no good picks, and so they would have to get a third team involved. I didn't want it. The Knicks cannot come up with the best offer. It would have to be Giannis says, send me to the Knicks, and Milwaukee acquiesces. I feel very similar about Golden State. Golden State can't make the best offer. So I came up with 3 what I think are fair offers.
Bucks-centric
offers. Bucks and Giannis, I think, could compete. So the first one is Atlanta, because you stay in the East, you give up Kristaps, former number 1 overall pick Risa Shea, and this is what's interesting about Atlanta for Milwaukee. Atlanta has the worst of the Pelicans or Milwaukee's pick in 2026. Atlanta has that. They can send that back to Milwaukee. And Atlanta has Milwaukee's first-round pick next year, so if you trade Giannis and you think you're going to tank, you'd like to have your own picks. So that is something where Milwaukee's like, at least we get our own pick back next year, the New Orleans pick, which might be number 1 overall, and an interesting young piece in research.
How many, when we saw like Miles get traded for like 5 picks, is there a limit to how many first-round picks? A lot of those were second-round picks.
So the thing is this. In the NBA, you can trade unlimited of other people's first-round picks if you have them. For your own, you can only trade every other year, and then you can do swaps.
Gotcha.
So that's the Atlanta offer. Here's the Houston offer, because, and this, Brew, I think you would have to think about, because you would keep all your young guys except for Şengün. Van Vliet's out for the year, and those are 2, in my opinion, excellent picks you'd be sending. The Brooklyn first a year from now, and the Phoenix first a year from now. And the feeling being Houston does have Kevin Durant, which means like there is something of a win now. And then the most interesting one, go ahead.
It probably doesn't work financially. I was going to say, if I'm Milwaukee, I'd rather Reed Shepherd than Van Vliet.
Well, right. Financially, the Van Vliet thing's important.
Right.
And then, what if I could create a Spurs trade where you don't break up the young core? The Sell and Harrison Barnes, plus these 5 first-round picks, none of which are Spurs picks. Because Spurs picks probably not going to be good. They have Wemby and Giannis, these young guards. The Bulls' first-rounder this year, Atlanta's first-rounder a year from now, Boston's first rounder 2 years from now, Dallas is 5 years from now, and then, I mean, truly, the manna from heaven in the NBA, Kings unprotected first round picks. Those things have been in the top 10 my whole life. And then the Spurs keep everybody.
I'm the Spurs. The
Spurs keep everybody.
I would definitely do that.
I'm going to show you one other thing before we move on. If they wait for the summer. If you wait for the summer, I wonder if OKC doesn't repeat. And if this graphic continues apace, if Jalen Williams becomes available. Because the last 2 years, the Oklahoma City Thunder with Jalen Williams are awesome. And without Jalen Williams are the greatest team in NBA history. And I can't figure that out.
No.
But they have a ton of picks. And if they fall short this year,
with the pick.
because it wouldn't work for them right now because he still's on a rookie salary. But his max deal kicks in this summer. And
he could get to be a number 1 guy, almost like a Brunson story.
But I think he's very good, but I don't think he's a number 1 guy. But with all those picks.
Right, another piece, because they have so many pieces, and picks would be interesting.
I like that Spurs. I mean, if the Spurs could get him for that, then shoot.
Oh, my.
Well, you keep all your guards, you keep all your future picks.
And Barnes is important for them, but certainly give him up for Giannis.
Coming up next, Drake Maye hurt his shoulder. Is this good news? What? Does it explain why he hasn't been throwing the ball great? Maybe. It's a great question. Check out the podcast if you get a chance. I think we're number 1 again. Oh my gosh!
Well, Nick's saying our pace is slowing.
No, we're not.
Giannis,
it's cruising.
It's cruising.
Listen, Giannis is nervous.
We've got 11 days to get 5.6 million views. You guys can do the math, or else start submitting resumes.
Easy money. If we do get to $1 billion, spot bonus from Nick Wright. Drake Maye hasn't been throwing the ball.
I paid a lot of those lately.
You paid $50 to Ian. Drake Maye hasn't been throwing the ball at an MVP level these playoffs. Maybe it's the defense, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's a sore arm. Here's Drake on the radio and Vrabel.
I'm feeling good. We got some extra rest, and really the only thing is from the game, I think just the built-up of throwing for, this is what, almost, including training camp, 30 weeks straight of throwing and 4 days a week. It can add up, but I think we got some extra rest, and I'm feeling good, and ready to go for Super Bowl.
Is that kind of something that's been maybe blown a little bit out of proportion?
I think that everybody, and including Drake, is not 100% at this part of the year. And, we'll do everything that we can to help our players be prepared and get ready for this game.
Something or nothing, bro?
Well, I think it's something in that it could explain why he's been a little subpar by his standards in these playoffs. And it could potentially slow him down in the game, the Super Bowl. I think it's nothing in that nobody cares. If you're out there playing, which he's obviously going to be, nobody cares if your shoulder's bothering you or not. We're going to judge you on your performance. So that's a quick answer to it.
Okay.
Well, it's definitely nothing as it pertains to nobody cares, but this is something. And it's something because he's been sacked 15 times in the 3 playoff games that he's been in. He's rushed the ball 24 times in the 3 playoff games, and I'm assuming he's going to have some runs in the Super Bowl, and he's probably going to hit the ground once or twice being sacked. So when you look at that, if you are the Seattle Seahawks and you're that defense and you know that you can get pressure, you can get home, you're going to try to test that theory of how well is Drake Maye. Now, I don't think it has something to do with, I don't think it will impact him in terms of his ability to throw the football. I don't think it's that drastic. I don't think that's why he's been not what we've seen in the regular season. But it is something. I know to Vrabel's point, everybody has some type of injury at this stage in their game. However, when it's your quarterback, it's the reason that you had such a great regular season, one of the main reasons why you're here, it is definitely something to be mindful of.
You want to go, Kate?
Look, I was optimistic because watching the games, the throws have been unlike throws that I've seen in the regular season. And I'm like, oh, maybe that's because it's snowy and wet, and maybe it's because his clock is like sped up a little bit, and we have the numbers here. The Chargers game, he didn't say that was necessarily the issue, and he had some beautiful passes in the Texans game, obviously, to Butte. But everything is down, right? The thing that hit my radar, Nick, was him talking like he was a baseball pitcher going deep into the playoffs. Like, man, I've been throwing this ball for a long time, and did he just throw too much? Like, we never really talk about that except with older quarterbacks, but he's like, yeah, it's been 30 weeks of throwing the ball.
He had a ton of attempts in the regular season. Was he number 1?
I don't know if
I don't think was he number 1, John? No.
Okay.
No, I don't think he was number 1.
So,
but he played all the games.
I know that our pal Dr. David Chow and some of the other internet sleuths thought they saw a play in the AFC Championship game where he hurt his shoulder. If that happened, then that's one thing. This report, if I may speak on behalf of Coach Mangini for a moment, if this report is true, the Patriots should be in trouble. He has not been listed on the injury report once all year. They listed 13 guys before the AFC Championship game. He wasn't one of them. They listed 9 prior to the divisional round. He wasn't one of them. So this report that he had a shoulder problem before the game is either wrong or the Patriots are not listing their injuries, which
Patriots?
I'm sorry?
The Patriots?
I know. I wasn't going to. It was an odd day to bring that up.
Not the Patriots.
I feel like Vrabel's like, I can't list everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody's 100%.
No, I get it. But again, if you were like power ranking, like, man, we have these injury reports. who are they? To inform the public.
Exactly.
If there's 14 guys and we are only going to list 13. Is the throwing shoulder of the starting quarterback one of our 13 most relevant injuries? I don't know. And so I did not look at Drake Maye in either of the 2 previous games and said, that's an injured player.
Yeah.
None of us did. I looked at him and said, oh, that looks like a young quarterback in his first playoff games, like I thought might happen, much to your dismay. And to your point, late in the Texans game, he had as good of a throw as he's had in any game. That throw to Butte could have been from any game all year, like peak Drake Maye performance. And so it obviously is something if the starting quarterback's shoulder is hurt.
Yes.
But Sam, and this is why I bring up the injury report thing. You think the Seahawks wanted to just tell everyone a day before their first playoff game, Darnold's oblique.
Right.
They did it because you have to.
Yeah, and then he didn't
do much. He didn't have to. He didn't need to.
I wonder if he needed to. Could he have?
Right, could he
let
have?
it up?
And so, like, the injury report rules are there for a reason. And so I don't know what to take of this report. But the report is saying the Patriots didn't disclose an injury to their starting quarterback, which Coach Mangini would tell you he got fined $50,000 for, even though Favre never missed a game. He's still not over it. Somebody started GoFundMe for that money for Coach Mangini. He's still not over it. He's still upset.
He does always bring
He brings it up all the time.
We're going to stay in Denver. Sean Payton told the world that Jarrett Stidham was good enough to lead the Broncos to the Super Bowl. Came up short. Broncos fired OC Joe Lombardi. Here's the weird part. Sean Payton called all the plays. Jeff Legwold writing, Payton has consistently said he will not surrender play calling duties. So unless he has a major change of heart in that regard, the Broncos OC will be a prominent voice in the weekly planning, as well as in Payton's ear on game day. But Payton will still call the plays. Greg, were you surprised by this move?
Yeah, I'm surprised for what you just pointed out. Like Sean Payton, we all know Sean Payton is the head coach, but we most certainly know he's on the sideline calling the plays. And so for him to say, it was due to the lack of production and productivity of our offense, I mean, it's kind of a shot at yourself that you're not willing to really just say. However, digging a little deeper into their coaching staff, they have Davis Webb on their coaching staff, quarterbacks coach, who is being sought after for a lot of different teams. Your Raiders being one of them, and they want to retain them. And so if you have a player or a coach on your roster like that you feel like, man, somebody might pluck them away, and you have an opportunity to move on from a coach who you have a relationship with and has been with you 3 different occasions, then you choose that. And so I think that's one of the reasons why they moved on from
Joe Lombardi.
Joe Lombardi.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, if you're moving Davis Webb up, so to speak, then that's fine. Outside of that, it feels like they're scapegoating him, or Sean Payton scapegoating him, because like you said, he's not calling the plays. And they've been mediocre. We know offense was kind of their weak link, right? But they were 14th, I think, in scoring this year, 10th last year. But when you look at their skilled players, they got solid but not great skilled position players. And Bo Nix is a young quarterback who's developing still. So the production, while it hasn't been great, has been pretty good for the talent they have on that side of the ball. So Davis Webb, that makes a lot of sense. You want to keep him in the building. But outside of that, it just feels like they're putting the blame on him when it could go to Payton.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like if we had a bunch of bad shows in a row, or not even a bunch, just one bad show, and Wilds fired Dusty. Like, you're the one deciding the rundown, buddy. Like, Dusty's the producer, but you're in there. You're
Dusty
in there.
just
You're in there just yelling at Dusty like, this is how we're supposed to do it. Like, if we're doing the topics wrong, it's your fault, not Dusty's. And so, like, that.
It's Dusty's fault. That's Dusty's fault.
It'd be
if we have a bad show, it's Dusty's fault.
Okay. But here's the thing about Davis Webb, or about this vacant job. Davis Webb doesn't want that job. This is not a good job. Your offensive coordinator. This is not about Bo Nix. I promise.
I know.
Just get
offensive coordinator without being a play caller is not
what do you do?
marquee
But some
job.
of the guys with the Chiefs have been able to move on in that case.
Absolutely.
Nagy, so you get the title if it's a successful team.
Nagy's like the only one, guys. Like
it's an odd interview. So do you call the plays? No, but I support.
And so, if I'm Davis Webb and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm interviewing for head coaching jobs, and then there's other teams that want me to be their play calling OC, like OC. No, so maybe he stays because he's familiar there. But if he doesn't, like, no marquee up. I do not think this is a job people that think I'm on the head coaching track are going to want to get. Like, Broncos OC is very different.
But he would be, if let's say he becomes their OC next year and they have the same type of season this year. He's going to be in the head coaching.
No, for Davis Webb, maybe. What I'm saying is, if this job is posted, if this job's open, this to me is one of the less attractive offensive coordinating jobs, because you don't get to do the thing where you make your name as an offensive coordinator calling the plays.
Yeah, we thought the Eagles' job was a little bit less desirable just because Sirianni occasionally pops in. Never mind calls all the plays.
Again, there is stability with this job, though.
Yep.
And that carries some weight.
Yes.
And so if you're Davis Webb, obviously you have...
when they fire the guy after they make the AFC title game and they lose because they have a backup quarterback, it doesn't feel like there's quite as much stability.
Yeah, but you just get the sense of, in being in the locker room and understanding how it works, a coach that has been paired with a young quarterback, you are more hesitant to just dismiss and get rid of him than somebody who's just kind of overarching, just holding the title and not in the unit meetings, not in the quarterback meetings every day, not on the field working with him every day, not really in his ear every single day. Not to say that Joe Lombardi wasn't, but definitely not as much as Davis Webb.
That's good. He hit us with the knowing how the locker room works. Damn. When he drops that one, it's like, oof. Like, knowing how it works, let me tell you what's up.
Brew knows.
Brew knows. Yeah, exactly.
So this is receiver banter.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got it.
Joe Brady, he's the new coach of the Bills, and he will still call the plays. Nick, you were concerned about Mr. Brady having too much on his plate. Is this good news or bad news for Josh?
I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it, bro. I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I know people are not going to believe me when I say this. I promise this is true. Assuming the Chiefs don't win every Super Bowl the rest of Josh's career, which is what I would like to have happen, I hope Josh wins one.
Yeah, of course.
I truly,
And Lamar?
I'd like to see all great players get one, but it's less about Josh. It's more about Bills fans. So, like, I don't look at the Ravens as, like, tortured fan base. Okay. They had multiple championships.
Bills fans,
I feel like really deserve one, and so I really do hope at some point the Bills get one, and I don't think this is good news. I don't think asking Joe Brady, who 2.5 years ago, you had he's on your staff, you have an offensive coordinator opening, and he's not your OC, he's your quarterback's coach, and then he gets a battlefield promotion when you fire Ken Dorsey, and now he's not only your head coach, but he's also having to multitask as head coach. I don't think that's the best way forward for the team. And when they said they wanted a CEO-type head coach, that's not your young offensive play call and whiz kid guy. It doesn't feel like this has been a coherent process from the firing of McDermott to this. And so it doesn't mean he won't be good at play calling. I think he's been good at play calling. But there's so much more to being an NFL head coach than calling the right offensive plays.
I love it. 16 head coaches started this season calling plays. Like, it's commonplace, including several first-year guys. Ben Johnson, Kellen Moore, Liam Cohen, Shane Steichen did it in Indy, when he was first. Like, half the league, most of the offensive head coaches also call plays. So I don't know why we would think Joe Brady can't do it when all these other guys can do it. Kevin O'Connell, Andy, it just go on and on. Dave Canales, I don't think it's the big deal you're saying. So I like it because I think the offense is going to be fine. The question is the defense. And that if they fall off, it's because they didn't get the right defensive guy. But offensively, they're going to cook.
I agree with Brew. I think it's good for now because we don't know what we don't know. We will come to know how good he is at managing the game. But to your point, all those coaches you mentioned, Kellen Moore, Ben Johnson, they even had a different task, more so difficult, because they were dealing with young guys under center, young quarterbacks. You have Josh Allen. So you call the play, once the play has been called, he has the rest. He can make the adjustments. You trust what he's going to put your team into. And as far as from a schematic standpoint, the best play, you can opt out, whatever the case may be, you trust that he has it from there. And you then can do your due diligence as being a head coach moving forward, X's and O's. How are we going to play moving forward? What are we going to do? So I don't mind it. But until we see how he manages the game, we won't fully know. Now, a lot of coaches, to your point, have handled it just fine. But those coaches you also mentioned have what I mentioned the other day. They have a former head coach on their roster.
I like that.
That is huge.
That's smart.
Like when you are a young head coach and you haven't had the responsibility of that before, it is incumbent upon you to really have somebody who can really, you can go to their room and say, hey, what would you do? What did you do in this situation? Just to kind of pick their brain and then help you and assist you in areas where you might be deficient, not that you can't grow in those areas.
Sure. So here, I understand all that, and I get your point that it is not rare. Right. I guess my theoretical counterpoint would be, yeah, it's not rare, and it's also one of the reasons that every year a quarter, and this year a third of the league is turning over head coaches. You know what I mean? Is that a lot of teams are trying this, and a lot of teams a couple years in or 3 years in, it's like that didn't work, and we're churning coaches. And so it is the way the league is going. I just wonder if it is because the best coaches in the league, most of them do it. It doesn't mean everyone can do it. Like McVay does it, Reed does it. I think Shanahan does it. I think most people right now think those are the three best offensive-minded head coaches in football. I don't know that it means that everyone can do it or should be doing it. And
a lot of these guys have done it well. Steichen, Schottenheimer did it this year. And it went well.
Right, but you're talking, and I guess I would have to just quickly
Zach
try
Taylor
to remember.
Even does it.
And I don't think
but their offense is fine.
Yeah, but
the defense.
My question, but the game management stuff,
Correct.
the holistic things, and are one of the, if you are the offensive-minded head coach and the play caller, I'm not even just talking about, do we challenge, do we use a timeout? I'm talking about the parts of your job that happen before Sunday. Are those neglected because you are so invested in just your side of the ball?
I think that's a fair.
And so, like Mike McDaniel did it. And Mike McDaniel's offense, when he had a healthy Tua, was always humming. And it seemed like other things fell by the wayside. Maybe Josh Allen can, hold up a wall to that and prevent that. It just concerns me.
Dynasty tiers next. All the dynasties in football.
And all the almost dynasties.
And all the almost dynasties as well. That doesn't seem like they should be on there.
Well, it would be too short of a segment if we just have 5 teams.
Oh, okay. Live from New York. It's a show that's getting ready to see some real live jousting. I'm going to medieval times this weekend.
Are you really?
Yes, have you ever been?
What? No.
There's jousting, I guess.
Where's the medieval times you're going?
Northern Jersey. There's beautiful horses. They have beautiful manes.
You going Friday or Saturday?
I'm going on Saturday.
Which showing?
Okay. If you want to come.
Now fans are going to show up just to see you.
I don't think so.
I think it's going to be packed.
Brew, remember how Wilds missed our meet and greet in Miami? First things first, meet and greet. Wilds exclusive. Saturday night at the North Jersey Medieval Times.
They tried to do a meet and greet at 11 p.m.
Yeah, we were in Miami.
We did.
Went in Rome.
Absolutely.
11 p.m.
I was fans of the show.
And then I did a solo one at the casino.
Yeah, that's not a sanctioned meet and greet.
That was great.
Okay?
Indoor smoking back when I smoked. It was a good time.
How's that going?
You still going strong?
Clean, baby.
Wow.
I'm
Second hour, first things first. Today, Belichick shut out of the Hall of Fame. When you look at it, should any of his Super Bowls count? I mean, really, guys, I don't know.
The last 3.
Save the straw man for your podcast.
Go confiscate his rings. Just go grab them and auction them off. Meanwhile, LeBron headed back to Cleveland, literally tonight, and then maybe next year. But right now, you're in for a real treat. Last night, while watching someone try to shovel their car out from the snow, and then imploring their college buddy to go help because they couldn't because they had a suit on. An elite group of experts, film watchers, and Christian Gonzalez
this guy
fought and toiled and burned the midnight oil to deliver the best segment in all of sports. It's an honor and a privilege. It's time for a special Dynasty Tiers.
Indeed it is. I'm glad, listen, the reason why I was included that Christian Gonzalez line is because Christian Gonzalez, great young player.
Yeah.
And I think a multi-time All-Pro already.
Yes.
One of, at worst, the 5 best players at his position in the league. Unless you hear this guy talk about him, in which case he is the forgotten son of Champ Bailey, Deion Sanders with a little Darryl Green mix.
Yeah.
It's just too much.
Terrell Reeves out there.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Gonzalez Island.
I mean, KW's not a big gambler. He's going to bet negative receptions for JSN this weekend. He's going to.
Stay tuned, Greg.
See,
we have to do a little Super Bowl preview on how we're going to lock up JSN.
Yeah, see.
Good luck.
Looking forward to
All
seeing.
right, so here's how the tiers are going to work. It's dynasties, mini dynasties, and almost dynasties. And it's in a pyramid format. So it's a little, it's a little crossover episode between Mahomes Mountain and the tiers. And we will start with the bottom row, which is great runs, not a dynasty. The Raiders from the mid-70s to the early 80s. Washington from the early 80s to 91. The Giants under Parcells, the Giants under Coughlin, and the Jim Kelly, Marv Levy, Buffalo Bills. What are those teams' resumes to get on here? Those Raiders teams made 3 Super Bowls, won them all, made another Final Four. The Stink was a part of some of these Washington teams, but the Joe Gibbs Washington teams made 4 Super Bowls, won 3, made another Final Four. Giants, 2 titles, 2 Super Bowl appearances. The Giants again, 2 titles, 2 Super Bowl appearances. And then I would say the most famous non-champion in any sport ever.
Yeah.
The Marv Levy, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, Buffalo Bills, as far as extended the period of time without championship.
But you're doing them a favor. You're doing them a solid by throwing them on there. Look at all the other 3 titles, at least 2 titles for all the others.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It was a great run. But
here's the thing. Had the Chiefs made the Super Bowl this year, then maybe it denigrates what those guys accomplished. Had the Patriots with Brady ever made 4 in a row? Like, there has been whether it was the 70s Dolphins, the Patriots with Brady, the Chiefs with Mahomes, there's been a hard ceiling at winning your conference 3 years in a row for every other team in the history of the league, except for the Bills. I'm including the Bills. I told you, I had a soft spot for Western New York.
See.
4th row, mini dynasties. The Packers of the early 60s, now let me be clear. This is Super Bowl era. The Packers, if we remove Super Bowl era, they're at the very, very top because they were winning championships prior to this. But we have to pretend as if history started in the Super Bowl era. Elway's Broncos, Shula's Dolphins, and Staubach and Landry's Cowboys. So let's look at what these teams accomplished. The Packers, they won the first 2 Super Bowls. It was pretty good. They had dominated it before the Super Bowl era. They won the first 2. The Broncos, they went back-to-back. The Dolphins went back-to-back, including going to a Super Bowl before they went back-to-back. So they went to 3 straight, and they had an undefeated season. And the Cowboys were just in it every year, went to 4 Super Bowls, won 2, went to 6 Final Fours. All right,
mini dynasties.
Mini dynasties.
Yeah, like
not real dynasties, miniature
snack
dynasties.
size.
Yeah. There have been 6 real dynasties. Here they are. We have had 3 decade-defining dynasties. The Niners of the 80s, the Cowboys of the 90s, the Patriots of the 2000 aughts. What were their resumes? The Niners, in that 9-year period, won 4 Super Bowls, went to 4, and made 1 other Final Four. Okay. Odd for them because the 4 years they didn't make the conference championship game, they either missed the playoffs or didn't win a single playoff game. But the 5 years they made the Final Four, 4 years they made the Super Bowl, they won it. Cowboys, we know what they did over those 4-year stretches. Won 3 Super Bowls, lost in 1 conference championship game. And the Patriots won a Super Bowl, missed the playoffs, then won back-to-back 14-win seasons, back-to-back Super Bowls, and the longest season-over-season winning streak in the history of the NFL. They are decade-defining dynasties.
But you're not the Patriots.
2001 to 2004.
But you don't count 07 in that that decade.
I do not, because 05 you didn't win a playoff game. 06 because the rest of it, to me, and I'll explain it. I'll show you. Okay. I think we'll probably get to the Patriots piece of it. There is a tier higher than it, and if we go back to the pyramid, just incomprehensibly consistent dynasties. And that's the 2011 to 2018 Pats and the 2018 to 2024 Chiefs. For the Patriots, that is an 8-year stretch where every single year they made the Final Four. They made 5 Super Bowls, they won 3. And for the Chiefs, it is a 7-year stretch where every single year they made the Final Four, they made 5 Super Bowls, they won 3. There are no down years, no gaps, no anything. We'll see if 2024 was the end of the Chiefs run, or if they get right back to it next year and we have to do some math on how it works, or if they have a significant gap between the 2 eras the way the 2 Patriot eras did. But that leaves one and only one team left standing, which is, and I thought the Chiefs were going to run them down, but up to this point they have not, the greatest dynasty. There have only been a handful of instances of a team going back-to-back in the history of the league. This team has 2 of them, and it's the same group. The Steelers from 74 to 79, over the course of 6 years, here's what they did. They made 4 Super Bowls. They won all 4 Super Bowls. They made the conference championship game one of the 2 years they didn't, and the divisional round the other year. And by the way, we look at the graphic as a whole, what they have, that Raiders team from 76 to 83 was an all-time great team in the midst of what they were doing in their conference. And they, and they were able to sustain that level of excellence and dominance. Despite that, that is, for my money, the greatest dynasty of all time. Greg Jennings.
Yeah, look, it's a great list. I have a hard time wrapping my head around the Bills simply because just getting there isn't good enough to me.
It's a great run, not a dynasty.
It's a great run, and I would throw a team on there that I felt should be worthy of a great run, not a dynasty, and that's our friend, my guy, Willie Cologne's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Absolutely. From 05 to 10, when you look at that Pittsburgh Steelers team, they have 2. If we can put up the numbers. They have 2 Super Bowls, 2 titles, 3 appearances, 3 conference championships. Obviously, they won. If you go 2 years before that, they went 15-1, and we see they lost in the conference championship game. Had it not been for my Packers team in 10 beating them, if they win that, they're clearly on this list as a dynasty. Yeah. Not talking about great run, potential, but not a dynasty. But this is a team that I feel like is worthy and is overlooked, oddly, because, not oddly, but because of that New York Giants team of their run that's on that list as well, from 7 to 11. And so the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would argue this team is worthy of being on there.
So I think you can, if I were to remove one team, it wouldn't be the 90 to 93 Bills, it would be the 07 to 11 Giants. The tiebreaker for me for the 07 to 11 Giants over that team is who they beat and how they beat them in the Super Bowl. And that's not the 17-0 Pats, and then another great Pats team the second time. That first Steelers Super Bowl, all Super Bowls are amazing, but it beat the Seahawks team that's probably doesn't have the historical stickiness maybe as some of the others.
But a young Ben Rothlesberger.
And the other piece of it that is tough for me is the fact that era splits coaches is weird. You know what I mean? The Gibbs Washington teams had 3 different quarterbacks, but it has the same coach. The Raiders had different coaches, and so that maybe falls into that same category. They would be if whenever Colin does the herd hierarchy, he always and this team was 11. They're Joe Lunardi's first team out would have been them. For real, I'm not
But you would rather have their run than the Bills.
I would rather have their run because they won 2.
Correct.
I would not, for the record, there are plenty of one-off champions that I think the Bills' run is way more impressive.
It's impressive, but at the end of the day, you got to get the ring.
Yes.
I get it. It is impressive to make 4 straight Super Bowls, obviously, but if you don't close the deal,
it makes it devastating. But I think it's, as far as historically great accomplishments, I think the 4 straight Super Bowls is more resonant than what the 2021 Rams did. I just do.
We remember it.
And so
the test of time.
And for whatever it's worth, but go ahead.
Well, I'm glad to see the Steelers on top. I was a rabid Steelers fan as a kid. And look, I wasn't going to go here, but when I heard Wilds go 2 minutes on the opposing quarterbacks for the Broncos yesterday.
Yeah.
And
in the regular season.
In the regular season.
Yes.
And then today go 2 minutes on his 401k.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Psh, I'm going here.
Yes, bro.
The Packers, I get it. It was pre-Super Bowl era, but it's continuous. So that 66-67 Packers team of Vince Lombardi also won it in 65, which was the championship. It wasn't the Super Bowl because the Super Bowl didn't exist. But they are, I believe, the only team to ever win 3 straight championships. And then they also won it in 61-62. They have 5 championships in a 7-year span.
Yeah.
Lombardi had 5 championships and another appearance in the championship game in a 9-year stretch. So I actually moved them all the way up to where the Steelers are, and I make it the greatest dynasties, plural.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
And it's close to the Super Bowl era, but it continued.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like they won it 5 years before.
I 100% agree with you, if that was eligible. Sadly, he's
but
gonna,
look,
Vince
Wilds,
is gonna have
all bets are off now.
Vince is gonna have to settle for the trophy being named after him because we are talking about it is as if football began with Super Bowl I. Chiefs,
there also
Packers,
was the same
and
hubbub when he wasn't first ballot Hall of Famer.
I don't think so.
Maybe, who knows?
KW.
I would like, before I go on attack mode like a rabid dog, hear your rationale for why you split up the Patriots, which left the 07 Patriots off in the wind like they're a different team.
No, it's not like they're a different team. It is because from 2005 until the start of the next one, 2011, there were 2 teams in the NFL that were objectively more successful than the Pats. The Steelers he's talking about in their own conference, and the Giants. And so it is definitive to me that that it is not a continuous one dynasty if multiple teams in the midst of your dynasty have far more success than you did. From 2005 until 2014, the Patriots won 0 Super Bowls, missed the playoffs once, had 2 other seasons in addition to when they missed the playoffs where they won 0 playoff games, and made 2 Super Bowls. And so they won, winning neither. In that same stretch, the New York Giants went 2 for 2. The Pittsburgh Steelers went 2 for 3.
The New York Giants played the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But
the Patriots were much better than the Giants.
We're giving the Bills. We're giving the Bills credit
run.
and an 18-1.
Right.
What perhaps in this whole dynasty might be the best team.
I
didn't win.
believe the
It's
greatest
just out in the wind.
I believe the greatest team of all time is the 07 Patriots. But I believe the second greatest team of all time is the 85 Bears, who are also not represented anywhere.
They didn't
So
have a tail end of a run. Here's my argument. We could throw up like the Brady belt. If you have continuity between coach and quarterback, I think it counts as one dynasty. So we don't start the Patriots talking about Parcells. We don't, or the old Bears Patriots, Raymond Berry. And if the Patriots won now and won for the next 3, I would say that would be separate. Different coach, different quarterback.
Yeah, of course.
Coach-quarterback continuity, I think, deserves one dynasty. And granted, it's long, so it's going to be a little bit unconventional, but we've never seen a 2-decade
So
dynasty.
here would be my question. I ask this earnestly. If we are, God willing, still doing this show in 2034, and in that time period, Lamar's won 2 Super Bowls and Caleb's won 2 Super Bowls. And in 2034, And the Chiefs have won none, by the way. And they obviously already missed the playoffs. Had a couple years where they, like this year, or where they just make the playoffs, don't win a playoff game. And in 2034, they win the Super Bowl. And I say, the Chiefs dynasty is ongoing. You'll think that's true? You'll think that if between now and 2034, they don't win another Super Bowl and they win one then, that is a continuation.
They made another, but do they make another?
Over the next 8 years, they lose 2 Super Bowls to Caleb, and Lamar wins 2 with the Ravens.
I would.
And then the Chiefs in 2034.
If Reed and Mahomes are there.
Reed and Mahomes are there. And that the Chiefs dynasty, in your guys' opinion, would have gone from 2018 to 2034.
Because in
that context, because I don't think so.
It would be Reed and Mahomes. It would be the Reed Mahomes. For instance, I consider the Spurs, Duncan Popovich, a dynasty. From 1999 to 2014, I consider that a dynasty. Now, Shaq and Kobe.
Even though there was a dynasty within there?
Yes. Because it's, like you said, the coach and the main player are continuous.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
So you think, so
I think the Patriots should be one
But
dynasty.
I'm not looking at it as
so I could
by the numbers as you. I'm more of just like,
we never would separate those two.
Yeah, right. Never would separate.
When you I don't know, it just doesn't feel like
you're gonna say the Mahomes Breed era.
No, the era. I totally agree on era. I don't think it'd be the same dynasty. If the Chiefs win 3 more Super Bowls in 2034, 2036, and 2037, and I'm like, hey, the Chiefs dynasty was 2018 to 2037. Ignore the decade in the middle when they won nothing.
But if they went to 2 other Super Bowls,
and had an undefeated regular season, I mean, they're still a great team.
So, okay. I could have.
I don't know if there's other teams there that like went to the Super Bowl that are not being represented.
Back up? I could. If it would make you feel better, we could change
trying to think of
the number on the Patriots 01 to 07.
That would make me feel better if you want to meet in the middle.
If you want to say it's 01 to 07.
And then dynasty gap year.
And then the gap was 2008 when they missed the playoffs, 2009 when they lose a home playoff game to Mark Sanchez and the Jets, and 2010 when they get just clocked by the Ravens. That was the reset. And then 2011 is the restart. I mean, I could adjust it.
01 to 07 makes it work, lessens the power of
That's what I felt. I felt like 01 to 07
and is more impressive.
That's how I felt. I wasn't trying to shortchange it.
I don't know if there's another team on there that has a Super Bowl appearance that is being left out. We count the Eagles, Chiefs losing to the Eagles 18 to 24. I just want to count those Patriots
because it was
continued.
Okay, so all right, switch it. 01 to 07.
That's what makes it so impressive.
I actually thought I was doing you guys a favor. But 01 to 07 is what it could say. I'm fine with that, but I still view it as 2 separate things.
But think about the power of a 17-year run.
And here's the other thing, KW.
Yeah.
No one else on there has won starting 2 years before, or 3 years before they win a Super Bowl. Like 11 to 18, y'all didn't win until 14. I'm giving you credit for making the Super Bowl in 11. 12 and 13, you lost before the Super Bowl. And then 14, you made it and won. So above, I'm starting you 3 years before you start winning.
Okay, but you start at a Super Bowl appearance.
No, but I'm saying nobody else did.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Everybody else started with a Super Bowl. The Dolphins, I guess, they made the appearance, and then the next 2 years they made it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to give you guys credit for 11. 14 to 18 is when all the winning was done of the 2020s. You guys won in 14, 16, and 18, made it in 17 and 11. 12 and 13 were bad. Not bad, but
I think we agree. Number 1 dynasty. 2 decades. Coming up next. LeBron going back to Cleveland, and does Belichick deserve to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Well, he's not, so there's that.
Whoa.
Cleveland!
The Great American Race returns. Back-to-back champion, William Byron, looking for the three-peat. Doesn't get any bigger than this. The 68th running of the Daytona 500, February 15th, weekend after the Super Bowl, only on Fox. Welcome back to First Things First. Greg Jennings is here. Bill Belichick not going to the Hall of Fame. The sports world met this news with emotions ranging from disbelief to anger. Mahomes, LeBron, Dion, Aikman, Jimmy Johnson all shared their dismay. Another way to read this is they're all on my side. Pretty good.
Sum it on up.
Yeah.
Some good names.
We talked about this earlier. Greg, we haven't heard from you. Are you okay with Belichick being shut out?
No, I'm on your side too.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Like, when you think of Bill Belichick, it's kind of like what we were just talking about, dynasties. The first thing that pops in your mind is Super Bowl wins, Super Bowl titles, wins as a coach. I'm not going to dismiss what is out there in terms of Spygate, because that is a real thing. But even as players, we don't look at Bill Belichick in that Patriots team and say, bunch of cheaters.
No. I think that's interesting.
We just don't. We recognize them for who they were. They dominated, they were a dynasty, and he was the orchestrator of it all. So naturally, it's a no-brainer. I don't care what took place. The guy still had to formulate a roster, build up who they were, put together a plan, and they had to execute it. He did it. He won. He's deserving to be a first ballot. This is foolish.
I agree with you on all of that. It still took a lot of hard work, but apparently they did it with an advantage that the other teams didn't have. And so I would have voted for him. I'm not terribly bothered about Spygate, Deflategate, but if the committee did keep him off for the Spygate, Deflategate, the cheating, which is the only rational reason to keep him off, I'm fine with it. And I think Belichick's stance toward this, he should just take his medicine, be humble, and go with it. He should, when he's asked about it, look, I felt I built up a Hall of Fame resume. Apparently the committee didn't think that. Hopefully I'll get in next go round. Leave it at that. Don't go into it because it can get ugly and then maybe, so just take your medicine. You did cheat. Take your medicine and you'll probably go in next year.
Well, and if now that he's not going to be first ballot, he is either, I would imagine, going to go in with Gronk or the following year with Brady. Now, again, the Hall of Fame still has the opportunity to take my idea, which is have an all-Patriot class next year. Again, I'm big on passing rules that will only ever apply to one person.
Sure.
So, if they were like, hey, by the way, just added rule. If you have more than 5 Super Bowl rings, your wait time's 4 years. Just so you know, just so everybody knows moving forward. Just like I said, if the NBA pass rule said, if you're the all-time leading scorer and an active player, you're automatically an all-star. It'll never apply to, it'll apply right now and never again.
I like intentionally walking Otani. You can do that once.
Okay. And so I have prior to all the Belichick stuff, I actually texted with Rob Gronkowski about this, and he loves this idea. Next year when Gronk's eligible, move up Brady's eligibility, make him eligible. Vinatieri was a finalist. Richard Seymour was a finalist. Rodney Harrison was a finalist. Get all of them in, and Belichick's a contributor, and the greatest dynasty, if it is that,
Hall of Fame adjacent Julian Edelman can be there.
Okay,
No.
he can speak for him. But regardless, you can have a whole Patriots class. So I still think there's a way to turn this into something semi-positive or whatever it is. And Belichick will eventually get in, and I think it'll be fine. Here is what I would ask you, because you're the one most upset. Because I want to echo what Bruce said. I would have voted for him. I also don't find it outrageous that the Hall of Fame said, it seems like 11 of the 50 at least, maybe more, said, Spygate was enough of an issue that we don't want to give you the extra designation of being first ballot. So here's what I would ask you. If we assume, or we agree, that there was some edge, that they weren't doing whatever they're doing in Spygate for no reason whatsoever, that Bill Belichick thought this gives us some edge. If someone had told him, hey, doing this is going to give you the best chance you have to win championships. And you're going to be able to do it for 5, 6, 7 years. At some point, it's going to be stopped. But just so you know, if you do it, you are not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Would he still have pressed that button? I think he would have.
Yes.
I think he would have said, no problem. So what?
Right, who cares about
and so like there is, I say this all the time. Everything has a cost. It seems like you think this cost is too severe.
I think the penalty has been paid.
That's my position.
That it was being relitigated. This happened in 2007. Okay, when we were talking about it in the meeting, I'm like, hey, do we want to talk about this? Like, I don't know. I've been talking about it for 2 decades. 2007 is the same year the iPhone came out. Okay, so maybe the world would be different if he was just out there with his iPhone, but because he had to have a big camera. It's a long time ago. The franchise paid the price. He took a reputational hit. Other players have taken reputational hits that have since been rehabilitated, and to me, it's water under the bridge. So now that there's another body saying, you know what, let's just give this guy one more shot to the ribs. Just one more shot to the ribs, I think is mean-spirited and unwise.
Why is it unwise?
Because at the risk of being a super downer, I don't think tomorrow is promised for anyone. And the old lesson of don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today. There's plenty of stories like call your best friend and call your uncle.
But on that,
I just don't think stick it to this guy. And I know that's taken another direction, but that is the core of why I'm upset.
And I hope the audience takes this for as sincere as I mean it to be. I've been working with you long enough, and I know you well enough as a human being that I know the 2 to 3% of time we're doing a show, and it represents more than just sports to you. We're like, I can see it in your eyes. This really means something to you. So I'm trying to...
Not like weird and wonderful.
No, but
sometimes I'm like, you got to inbound the ball, Kentucky.
I'm trying to meet you where you're at because I think you deserve it. That exact same tomorrow isn't promised might be why he didn't get in. They might say, you know what? Some of those voters might say, you know what? All things considered, tomorrow isn't promised. And if I'm going to roll the dice that one of these guys who I think is eventually going to get in is, that might not be here next year, I'm voting for Kraft. Or I'm voting for Ken Anderson. I'm voting for a senior committee guy because they haven't given me an objective reason that I think that they deserve to be penalized. And when you keep saying he already was penalized, he was penalized by a different body. The Hall of Fame never got to weigh in on Spygate, ever. They never got to weigh in on that. And so it is, I'm mixing.
Then if that's the case, if that's your principled stand, say who you are and say, I didn't vote for Bill Belichick.
Agree.
B.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sit down with an interview for someone and let's hear about Spygate. Let's see how good your memory is on Spygate. Let's go through it a little bit. What was going on? How many games did it affect? Let's really do it. Because I think there's a lot of fuzzy stuff out there where it's like, Spygate, I want to take one more shot at him. I do not believe that people are that principled about Spygate. Maybe it's a little bit of personality. Maybe it's a little bit of jealousy.
Look, you can be forgiven for something and have paid your penance, but the repercussions of what you did in the past can still follow you. Like there still can be an impact on what you did, which is what this is. But I'll say this, and this is a good thing. I think in the end, like let's say next year Belichick's voted in, which we think is going to happen, it is going to be celebrated even more than it would have been had he gotten in this year. Because everybody that's been ripping the voters and all, like it's going to be much more celebrated and honored, and people are going to go crazy for him. That's how it's going to be. That. And so, he'll get it.
Greg, can I ask you one other thing in a slightly different direction? Because I know these guys are going to jump all over me. But maybe since you and I have been in lockstep with the Patriots. Super Bowl coming up and next 2 Sundays from now. Easy schedule. Jarrett Stidham. Patriots have just been disrespected, doubted, discredited. And Mike Vrabel played on those teams for Bill Belichick. Not saying it's a major factor, not saying it's a minor factor, not saying it's even a little factor. Not nothing.
It's definitely not.
A little bit of motivation against the Seahawks, true or false?
Any type of motivation, advantage that you can get, especially when you're at this position to try to win this game, you're going to try to do whatever. You're going to throw all that fuel on there.
It'll be in this pregame speech.
It'll definitely, some of these conversations will definitely be in that pre-highlight tape before the game.
Full.
Yeah, I don't buy that piece of it.
That part there is going to be in it.
That's fine. I mean,
I'm telling you right now.
I don't think that this impacts this year's Super Bowl as much as I think this impacts this year's the atmosphere around the Hall of Fame induction. And that, by the way, is the one point we haven't made yet that I'll make here. The casualty in this, right or wrong, is none of the guys who make the Hall of Fame this year are the star of the Hall of Fame this year. And that's a shame. The star is the guy who's, the story is the guy who's not there.
You know what?
And listen, I'm not saying that's a reason that should come into the math or whatever it is, but when you have this level of shock that someone didn't get in, it does overshadow a bit when Breeze does get in, when Fitz does get in. Whomever the senior candidate is, it probably makes it, if it is Robert Kraft, among maybe others, it could be more than one, it's a little, their moment's not really their moment. And that's not, they had nothing to do with the vote, and they had nothing to do with that. So that's an unintentional consequence of it that I think is unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, coming up next. Is LeBron going back to Cleveland?
He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Well, you never know. He had some traveling calls. He had some flops. He had a flop 7 years ago.
Flop.
Saturday, 2 powerhouses. Number 2, UConn. Fox Primetime Hoops against Creighton. Coverage begins Saturday night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Only on Fox. I'm scared of Creighton. I've told you guys that.
Yeah.
I never
determined in your dreams all the time.
Lakers in Cleveland tonight. Is this LeBron's last game in the land, or his last game in a Lakers uniform in the land, or neither? Dave McMenamin writing, multiple team and league sources told ESPN the Cavs would gladly welcome James back this summer if he wanted to return, to Cleveland for his 24th NBA season and 3rd stint with the team. That's from McMenamin. Your reaction to this news?
Well, I think there was a time over the last few years when the Cavaliers would not have gladly welcomed LeBron back. Not because of any animosity or anything, but if I was Donovan Mitchell a few years ago and I'm like,
I'm gonna do this on my own.
Right.
I got this.
When LeBron comes in, he takes over. It's everything about, especially in Cleveland. We can do it. All right. But now after 3, possibly 4, I'd say probably 4 years where they have really good regular seasons, even this year in a great regular season, but it ends in disappointing fashion in the playoffs, then you should welcome LeBron. LeBron going there in the Eastern Conference, they would definitely have a shot. And
yeah,
I would say the second greatest way for LeBron to end his career would be going back to Cleveland and helping them win another championship. Maybe some would say the greatest. I'm saying the greatest.
Is he the Knicks?
No.
Oh.
Well, that's a good one, though, would be to go to Golden State and he and Steph win a championship.
Can I just quickly before you go?
Because that would be a circus throughout the whole season. Those two on tour.
Note to self: Brews top 10 greatest LeBron final acts.
Oh yeah,
power rank.
Those are we could do
love
that.
It all.
Knicks is a good one too.
Yeah, listen, the Warriors would. That would. It would feel like he is. It wouldn't feel like he would be joining Steph's team.
The thing is that I hear it quickly. I'll hear you on that, but Steph's team ain't no good. I mean, like
right.
it'd be
And it's
one thing
gone.
if
You know,
it'd be one
Clay's
thing
gone,
if the
Draymond
Warriors
would be
were
gone.
rolling and close and with Steph and they don't need LeBron. They would need a LeBron. Like, they're not a good team, and he would be lifting them.
Or Steph could join him in Cleveland. Steph's from Akron as well. Everybody forgets
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Born at the
that's a good
same hospital. Or the neutral site. They could go to your team, Charlotte, where Steph's like. I've been saying that for regardless. To stay here. Here is the thing that is, to me, patently obvious about LeBron. And I said it a year ago, and I will say it again. He's just never going to be bad. Mm-hmm. And I think where he's at right now, Brew, is just his floor once he's in game shape. We saw his actual floor the first 2 weeks of the year, and he's struggling to get 10 points. And I think folks understandably were like, ooh, like it took longer than it's taken for anyone else, but Father Time caught up with him. And he said, he was like, no, I just never have not had a training camp. And this was my training camp. And now he's just 22, 7, and 6, which again, that is not vintage LeBron, but it's
very good.
Super impactful, effective basketball player.
Absolutely.
The Lakers' fit is awful. And I have been hard on Rob Pelinka in the past. That is not anyone's fault. When you had him and LeBron and Anthony Davis was a great fit. Right. Trading Anthony Davis for Luka is a no-brainer. You have to do it. LeBron and Luka is an awkward fit that they did their best to make work. LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves when he comes back is a nonsensical fit. You have the oldest player in the league and then two guys who want the ball and can't or don't defend. So it's just that's not going to fit. Right. So I don't think he's done playing. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's anywhere near the place where he can't be a very valuable piece on a championship team. I still think with the right team, Brew, he can be the second best guy on a championship team. I don't think that's the way the Lakers are built. The Cavs, it's interesting. If Donovan's your best guy, if he's your second best guy, if you have those big Mobley and Jared Allen to defend, what does that do? And I would love to see him finish his career back out east, be it on the Cavs or the Knicks. And I don't think he is going to demand. I think for the Cavs, he might do it for very little money.
He would have to.
Yeah, well, yeah. Right. That should.
Yeah, I mean,
the only reason this is a possibility is because the contract expires, I'm free agent, I'll sign for whatever.
If he really Cleveland makes a ton of sense. You know, you could go there, you're just there a year, you're at home. I'm sure his family would stay in LA, but you know, you're at home, so maybe that's doable. And I would think LeBron's last act should not be based on money. I mean, obviously he's got a ton of money. If he wants to go there, you know, and it means the veterans minimum or whatever it is, then he could do it, and it'd be a fantastic last act.
Are you ruling out the Wizards?
I also don't think KW. It should be based. His last act though should be based off the best possible place to get ring number 5. I think it has to be a story.
I agree.
It either has to be going home to Cleveland, your story of where can me and Steph play together.
I like that.
Or, you know what, he's always talked about MSG. And the Knicks also might have thought 2 years ago, no, we wouldn't want him. We're building this. Last year, we're building this. Well, let's see how this year goes.
Mike Brown coached him, and they had a lot of success in Cleveland.
Yeah. So Giannis, Brunson, and LeBron?
Whew.
I don't think they're going to get Giannis, bro. They traded all their picks away. They're not going to be able to get Giannis.
But Giannis is making a request.
I understand, but
Milwaukee's got to do what's best for them.
Yeah, they can't.
Try to do it best for both, but they got to.
I gave you 13 years to get you guys a championship. Live from New York City, it's First Things First overtime today. Is there a justification for the snub of Bill Belichick? Danny has some interesting insight that he just discovered, so I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, the coolest stats known to man. Christina said we go from the gridiron to the hardwood. A little football, a little basketball.
That's right.
Excited about this. And finally, Big Ben joins the show. A little bit of a victory lap for calling McCarthy Aaron Rodgers reunion. Classic one from Big Ben. Wasn't expecting that. Alongside Chris Broussard, I'm Kevin Wildes, Nick Wright. Danny, did you see the intro to the Dynasty Tears?
Yeah, but I already forgot about it.
I was making fun of Nick for telling you to go out and shovel that person's car.
Oh, okay.
Because he couldn't do it because he had his
I was already
nice
wearing a
shoes
suit.
on.
Danny was wearing what he normally wears to work, which is pajamas. And
I dress for comfort, not style.
And I told him I put a real financial bounty on him helping that lady, not so much because I thought she needed the help, but because I thought he might pass out from exhaustion.
Yeah, and then you mocked my back ailments
Yeah.
and my laziness,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I didn't take you up on
I think he's allowed to. First of all, the back ailments thing, don't do that. The laziness, however.
it. Fair game.
He mocked my laziness.
Right. That's an admirable quality.
But right now, we're starting with the greatest coach of all time. One of the greatest snubs of all time. Not going to Hall of Fame. Needed 40 of 50 votes. He came up short. For a while, I was like 11 voters. Like, well, I don't know, maybe it was 30 voters. Who knows?
Right.
His first in wins, appearances, playoff wins. Count his rings. He's got 8 total. 6 as a head coach, 2 with the Giants. Before we get your reaction, Parkins, here's Tom Brady's reaction. Take a listen.
I don't understand it. I mean, I was with them every day. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is completely ridiculous because people deserve it. And he's incredible. There's no coach I'd ever want to play. I'd rather play for. If I'm picking one coach to go out there to win a Super Bowl, give me one season, I'm taking Bill Belichick.
Heck yeah. All-time coaching ranks, Danny. It speaks for itself.
It's pretty good.
First in playoff wins. Total wins, 333. Second. Okay, so your reaction to this news.
My reaction was it was absurd. I mean, we were on when it broke yesterday. My thought was pretty simple. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is supposed to be based on merit. It's the toughest Hall of Fame to get into. There's only 50 voters, very exclusive class, and there are no guiding principles. Like the Baseball Hall of Fame has a morality clause written into it. Well, if Bill Belichick was up for the Baseball Hall of Fame,
I don't think he'd make it.
I don't think he'd make it either.
Hit any home runs.
But
in the World Series.
Not a 5-tool player.
Yeah.
But the Spygate stuff would feel a lot more relevant to me personally if it was the Baseball Hall of Fame than the Football Hall of Fame. Football Hall of Fame is judge your candidacy.
Is it?
That's how it's always been.
I mean, you said there's no criteria.
I'm saying that's how it's always been.
Like there's no official, you know what I mean? So some voters do take character and things like that into consideration.
Certainly,
it is not a directive of the Hall of Fame to take character, integrity of the game like it is. It is spelled out in baseball. It is not spelled out in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So for a individual voter, maybe, but I have a hard time believing that all of these people came to the same conclusion without there being some politicking, which is why I thought what Bill Polian said was ridiculous. When he was like, I don't remember who I voted for.
Well, that
It's
is
not to be
absolutely
taken
ridiculous.
seriously.
I want to believe that, but if he holds 2% of the vote in that room and he has sway and he clearly, I mean, Tony Dungy is in that room. I'd imagine him and he has respect for Bill Polian. Bill Polian is a voice that carries some weight, and really good journalists said that he carried weight on that issue. So I personally thought it was ridiculous, and I'm going to get to what I just read here in a little bit, but first, just because I heard you guys talking about Spygate earlier, if you just take that and say everything Bill Belichick did before it was nullified because he got penalized for the video.
I love this. This is like the Barry Bonds theory.
Yeah, if you said everything up through 2007, let's remove it, and then let's start Bill Belichick's career in 2008 and go forward. This is what Bill Belichick's resume would be post Spygate: 3 Super Bowls, 5 AFC titles, 16 playoff wins, and about 100 games over 500.
To be fair, we were messing with the comms though in Foxborough.
Yeah, okay. But then if you then take just that post Spygate resume and compare it to the coaches that are in the Hall of Fame, instead of being first in Super Bowls, he is now second. Instead of being first in conference titles, he is now second. And instead of being first in playoff wins, he is now fourth. Post Spygate, he is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but
there's also, and Nick and I both said, the cheating isn't that big of a deal to us. But if voters took that into consideration and that's why they didn't put him in, I am not against that because he did break the rules. And it's not just Spygate. It's also Deflategate. And so you have to weigh that in as well.
He does, I mean, I don't want to get into that, but he was not involved in that.
Right. So I'm gonna
He was not
stay
named
focused,
in the official
right.
findings of
I'm going to
Deflategate.
stay focused on Spygate because where I disagree with something KW said earlier is like we're all fuzzy on what that was. For the purposes of this discussion, especially because I'm on the record, I'd have voted for him. I actually don't care. I do know and I do care about what Spygate was, but we can just say I don't know what it was and I don't care. What we know definitively is the only governing body that had an opportunity to levy a penalty for Spygate levied the harshest penalty they have ever levied for that type of malfeasance. As far as the most they are allowed by contract to fine a coach, he got fined. They took a first-round pick, which up to that point was unprecedented for this type of thing. So the judgment came in on that. And the reason why I'm leaving Deflategate out of it is Belichick, they didn't do anything to him on that. So, and where I will just be adamant on, I do not view it as that he's being double penalized. I view it as, again, mixed metaphors a bit. If voters said the Pro Football Hall of Fame is not giving you or I'm not giving you my vote for being a first ballot Hall of Famer because of that, I find that no different than if after the show, if one of the days you make fun of the committee, I just can't take it anymore and I punch you dead in the face. If I get arrested for it and then also you sue me. It's like, okay, there is a criminal proceeding, and they are going to do it, but then there is also a civil proceeding. Right. I view it as the NFL levied a punishment, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame had no say on that up until this moment. And if the voters are saying, and I'm not sure this is what all the voters are saying, that he is not going to get the best distinction one can get because I am bothered by that more than Nick or Brew or you or Danny are. I don't find that illegitimate. I understand it.
So most voters have not put their name on it yet for not voting for it. But one has right before I came on the air. I just read his column. Buddy of mine, I'm sure you know him also, Vahe Gregorian, writes for the Kansas City Star. Longtime sports writer, used to work in St. Louis, Kansas City. Got the Hall of Fame vote when the late, great Therese Paylor passed away a few years ago. He is the opposite of a hot take artist. He is a probably 30-plus year sports writer, has that vote. He wrote a column saying, Bill Belichick deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Here's why I did not vote for him. And he said that it had nothing to do with the cheating. Nothing to do with it. He said the Hall of Fame needs to change its voting process because the coaching eligibility candidate, Bill Belichick, the contributor candidate, Robert Kraft, and the senior committee candidates, there's 5 guys, and they're all competing against each other. Mm-hmm. You can only vote for, at most, 3 people of those 5, the contributor, the coach, and the senior committee. Right. And he thought that Ken Anderson, Roger Craig, and R.C. Greenwood, the 3... L.C. Greenwood, excuse me, I can't even read my own handwriting. All 3 senior candidates deserved his vote, and that they had been waiting the longest to get in, and so he placed a vote there for like their last shot at eligibility.
Oh, were they going to, for lack of a better,
there will be
age out of
there will be other senior
like
committee. Exactly, there will be other senior committee people.
This was
behind.
Their last chance.
I don't know if definitively this was their last chance because I think for senior committee candidates, it could be a new batch every year, or they could be back on it, and so that you don't know that it's
Correct.
not like
there'll be new guys who didn't get in the normal voting process who then become eligible.
And then maybe those guys don't get in.
But also,
so that's so funny because this bothers you more, and this one you're okay with.
Well, if you waited,
it feels
they're on the senior committee for a reason, and I'm not the guy that's always you're either a Hall of Famer or you're not. If when I first hear your name, I don't think Hall of Famer, you're not in. I'm not that guy. But if you've waited this long and you haven't made it, and now you're on to the senior committee, it's like, there's a reason, like, you might not be a Hall of Famer. Good chance you're not. Bill Belichick, the only justification to me,
I agree with you,
is the cheating. Any other reason, I'm sorry. Like, I don't even think there should be a vote on a guy like Belichick because he's done so much. He should just be in. If you take away,
Bro, I agree.
But I do think the cheating is a legitimate reason to be like, in this case, no. But any other reason is, I don't think there's any way you can justify not putting him in for football reasons.
The weird part about this is, I think we've had a good spirited argument about this. But if all of a sudden it's like, guys, we have to do a redo. There was we lost track. And I know you guys understood the reason why we didn't get Belichick in, or I watched First Things First. You guys would vote him in, correct?
I said that from the beginning because
So I think we all. So it feels like it's a little bit of.
No, but
everyone thinks he should be in.
I just understand if people say, you know what, he did.
I would vote him in too. I should vote.
So I would vote him in, but this is maybe, I guess, a little kind of sports media ombudsman encroaching in here. My reaction is I find I can't believe it. This is an outrage. Odd. In that, because I think now Vahe's column is interesting. I didn't see that one coming. That's like, you know what? Belichick, LC Greenwood.
Right, exactly. Come on.
Like, I didn't see that argument.
Just posted.
I didn't see that argument coming down the tracks. But it is understandable, and this is the part that I think is unfair.
Yeah.
But probably accurate, that certain guys, because of their personalities and relationships, people decide to look past the hole on the resume or the one, blemish, and other folks want to focus on it.
That's fair.
And so that part I don't think should be a factor.
Right.
But I do think that because Belichick never cared about currying favor or friends, that win, whether it was Bill Polian or not, and I understand Bill Polian cannot remember his vote from 2 weeks ago.
That's a tough one. If you don't remember
your
vote
from 2 weeks ago, you should be stripped
your vote. You vote for 3, right?
Right.
What?
Yeah,
You say?
you vote for 3.
Yeah, you should be stripped of your vote.
Absolutely. But I could see a scenario where that he is making that case, and people are more easily swayed because they didn't like him. And I don't like that is the case, but I think that does happen.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Christine, I don't know if you have, and if you don't have, we got to get to cool stats, but I just want to bring up these tweets real quick. The immediate outpouring from superstars / legends around the sports world makes me think, like, when I talk about pro Patriots, I'm like, man, am I just like wearing my New England glasses? Patrick Mahomes, insane. Troy, disappointing day. Coach Prime, disrespectful. LeBron, egregious and disrespectful. Jimmy Johnson was on fire on Twitter.
And on Colin today was furious.
So, and it's a little bit like I haven't seen a great all-time player. And Greg was saying, like, you still have to line up and play the games. It reminded me what Greg was saying, that it echoes how it doesn't feel like baseball players are as upset with Barry Bonds. Like, man, you still have to hit that ball out of the stadium. Then media are upset with Barry Bonds. That there is some sort of line in the sand. But the guys who lace him up are like, no, this guy's one.
I do think that it would be helpful for the media members that have a vote if they followed Vahe's lead.
Yes.
If they said, hey, right or wrong, I know the Hall of Fame asked you not to. This seems like insinuating circumstance. Right or wrong, I'm going to stand by what I did or didn't do, and here's why.
I think that's smart. Buckle up. You're in for a real treat now.
Big one.
It's one of the highlights of the week. A lot of times people are like, stats, are they cool? Well, let me tell you. Coming up, we got cool stats on the Steelers, a cool stat on that guy, Matthew Stafford, and a little cross-sport action, a cool stat about Giannis. It's another edition of the coolest statistical segment in all sports, packed stats, and yet again, the gloves, just a little bit of a...
I like the audience to see me put on the gloves.
Exactly. He
I
had
do it
him in
intentionally.
plenty of time.
Plenty of time. It's the last piece.
Here we go.
To let everyone know. You guys know what else is cool?
What?
Thanks for asking. Memes.
Memes.
Wow.
They are. This is the biggest meme on the internet. The Spider-Man meme. Oh, is there any difference? There's no difference between Mike McCarthy and Mike Tomlin.
Huh?
The Steelers just replaced one guy's problem with another. Mike McCarthy, since winning his Super Bowl, his record is 6-9. That's the second worst of any coach with at least 10-plus playoff games. You see it in parentheses there, but spoiler alert. Second to Mike Tomlin.
Same first name, too.
Same first name, another similarity. It's fascinating. But it's why I can't stand this hire. Yeah, good job. You will coach in playoff games, ultimately losing them. High floor, low ceiling. We'll ask Ben Rothlesberger about it in a little bit. But is there any difference? Mike McCarthy is offensive Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man meme of coaching hires.
So is there no... do you not have any pause in your just evisceration of this hire when part of the analysis... And again, I don't like it either.
Okay.
But part of the analysis is, I wish they would have hired a coach that would give them a better chance of going 3-14.
No, because if they went 3-14, get your next quarterback. Last time the Steelers had a losing record, they drafted Ben Roethlisberger the year after that. 1969, they went 1-13, drafted Terry Bradshaw the year after that. It seems to work out pretty well.
How would you have felt about a Brian Flores hire?
20 years younger.
Because I think that would have been a good hire, but they wouldn't have won 3 or 4 games. They probably win as many.
Listen,
as
I don't
they
think you
win
hire
under
a coach with the hope that he's awful so that you lose games to get a quarterback. But this is just such a known commodity that I am more willing to strike out for the chance at hitting a home run. And I just think Mike McCarthy's a solid single up.
I mean, I do agree with you on that. He's a good coach. I think they could win 10 games, but no chance of getting to the Super Bowl. None.
Okay.
Running in place.
Flores, one of the issues with him in Miami was like, I'm not losing. I am going to win these games.
Right.
And he would win. We should have on? What? Andrew Filipponi. The Pony.
Yeah.
What do you heard?
He was in New York City this weekend. Yeah.
I do not think the Steelers are gunning for Super Bowls. I don't. I think they are a successful franchise.
They got their little niche. We make the playoffs.
We make the playoffs. We're consistently excellent. We're consistently pretty good.
Solid.
I'm going to ask Ben Roethlisberger about that coming up.
Excellent.
In about 10 minutes. But you guys know what else is cool?
What else is cool?
Thanks for asking. Aging.
Well, I didn't see that one.
I agree.
Yeah, no, Wilds, you would know. Yeah, Brew, you definitely.
I agree with that.
Wow. Shots fired.
Aging. There's no reason to believe Matt Stafford is going to regress. If you throw for 4,000 yards or more and 30 or more touchdowns as a 37-year-old, those numbers below are the average of what the only other 6 guys in NFL history did in their age 38 season. So that takes a second to process, I understand it. But the list is Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Kurt Warner, and now Matt Stafford. Guys who hit that 4,000-yard, 30-touchdown plateau at age 37. They all came back, and everybody except Kurt Warner was over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, and he was at 3,700 yards, only 26 touchdowns.
I mean, does anybody here think that if Stafford runs it back, he's not going to be awesome again?
No, he's...
Like, I expect him to be awesome again.
Right.
Is there any way he retires when he just led the league in passing and led the league in touchdowns? Like, I understand the only reason we debate it is because he himself talked about retirement before last year. But when you come back and have that season, you have that coach, you have those receivers, and you got that close to the Super Bowl, I see it as inevitable. Like, this is as close to walking out on top as you can, like, short of winning a Super Bowl. It's going to be the MVP of the league.
I mean, the only way would be is if he and his wife decide they want to. Like, I think he obviously can still play, but I don't think it's as guaranteed as you just because he has been thinking about it. He has been talking.
If I were in his shoes, and again, if he wants to just walk away, he's done fine. He's played, 17 years. But I would try to maximize this window. It's unfortunate I had to play 12 years in a dysfunctional franchise or whatever. But now I'm here.
Yeah.
I got great people around me, players, coaches. I want to get another ring. I want to maximize this little 6-7 year window. So.
Has anyone ever retired after an MVP? It's got to be no, right?
No way to tell.
Probably
Okay,
not.
yeah,
That's
no
a
way
good
to tell.
question.
Maybe Jim Brown. Maybe that's because he wanted to go make the dirty dozen. For real. I'm not sure.
We'll fact check it. You guys know what else is cool?
What else is cool?
Moving.
Moving around or?
No, like moving.
No, that's like the least cool.
Moving around.
Hard disagree.
Relocation.
I moved around a lot.
Relocation
I'm
budget.
Oh,
A
Bruce
lot of
went
different
with that.
hometowns.
Pros and cons.
Now listen, I want Giannis to stay.
Do you?
Really?
Bucks guy.
You're
my
a
favorite-
Bucks guy?
You really want him to stay there? And
I
probably
think
not
there is
compete
I
anymore
think there's
for
something cool to Kobe, Dirk, Duncan, one franchise, the whole thing. But I understand the rationale, and here it is. He is on a very exclusive list. Guys with multiple MVPs and 7 or more first-team All-NBAs. It's a club of 10 people in NBA history who have accomplished it. A who's who of NBA greats. And if we put it in order of playoff games played, he's down there way at the bottom. Him and Bob Pettit.
Bullet Bob.
But, and they didn't play as many.
Right.
Right, I
They
know,
just
I
had the
understand.
finals.
Right.
But everybody else is 160 playoff games minimum. And Dame got hurt, Middleton got hurt, Drew got hurt, like in playoff. Giannis got hurt in a first-round playoff series against the Heat. So they have had really bad injury luck in terms of timing in Milwaukee. Like, he definitely feels like he should have had more runs in Milwaukee. But if he wants to move on, that right there is the reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's perfectly put. It's not his fault,
Right.
but he hasn't played in enough big games. We have seen Giannis in one NBA Finals. We have seen Giannis in one other conference Finals. Everybody else on that list lived in the final round of the playoffs or the second to last round of the playoffs, and so that I totally get it because it just doesn't seem fair to his talent or to fans of basketball that want to see him play in the biggest game.
He's given the Bucks everything he could. I think he's played there almost twice as long as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did, Lou Alcindor at that time. And so he gave him a championship. It's time. And I actually think it's best for the Bucks too. At this point, they've had Giannis for several years now since the championship and are not, when they've tried, bring in Dame, try this, try that, bring in Doc Rivers. Nothing has worked. Go ahead and start your rebuild and get as much as you can for it.
84 playoff games in 12 years. So that's 7 playoff games.
One round a year, baby.
That's not enough. It's not enough.
Jim Brown and Norm Van Brocklin.
Oh.
Norm Van Brocklin is
MTV.
another guy that comes up on the show, but Jim Brown was one of them?
Yeah.
I win trivia today.
You don't.
I win trivia today because of nailing that.
Objectively, you don't.
Cool
Thank you.
segment. Thank you, Danny. Coming up next,
Thank you.
Ben Roethlisberger joins the show.
Should I keep this on to interview Big Ben?
At least the sunglasses and the
I'll
gloves.
give you $10,000 today.
Joining us now on the OT, we're thrilled to be joined by a 2-time Super Bowl champion, the all-time leading passer in Steelers history, the host of Footballin' with Ben Roethlisberger, but maybe most notably, a longtime teammate of Willie Colon. Ben Roethlisberger with us on the OT. What's up, Ben?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
That's my brother right there. Ben, let's get right to it. Obviously, the Steelers hired Mike McCarthy. How do you feel about the future of the Steelers under his leadership?
I like it. I'm excited for it. I think you get this group of people, the fans that are kind of mixed emotions on, right? I think there are a lot of people that wanted to wipe the slate clean. Let's start over. Let's get a new young gun, maybe first time head coach type, coordinator type that would move up. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I also, I like the fact, a couple things quickly, and I mentioned this last night on my show, is I love the offensive minded coordinator, right? Or a head coach. It's been defense, and Pittsburgh will always revolve around defense and running the ball. So to have an offensive minded guy come in, I think that's great because let's be honest, Pittsburgh fans can't be happy with 6 points in a playoff game, right? Like let's get a guy in there that wants to do something. I think there's something to be said about him being a Pittsburgh guy. Is that going to bring more wins? Listen, that's not going to translate necessarily, but there's something about that guy, that coach that I know he's coached elsewhere, but deep down inside, you're telling me that he didn't have little black and gold always brewing down there. And to be here, like, this is a kind of a dream job. If anyone wants to bring a Super Bowl here, it's this guy. And so I'm excited. Plus, you look at the ability of him to have a coaching tree. He's going to bring in coaches, young coaches, and people that are going to be able, that are going to satisfy, I think, the urge of the fan base to have a young coach. But I'm really excited about where I think this could go.
Ben, I'll follow up with an Aaron Rodgers question. Obviously, conversations being had, chatters being out there about Aaron Rodgers possibly reuniting with Mike McCarthy. I'm curious to know your sentiments about that and how you feel about that based on what you were able to see out of the offense and out of specifically Aaron Rodgers at this stage in his career.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously only Aaron knows what Aaron's going to do, right? And he'll keep us guessing until the 11th hour, most likely. But I think if there was ever an option or a realistic chance for him to come back to Pittsburgh, it just happened, right? I mean, I don't know that Aaron would want to go learn a brand new offense at this point in his career. We know how cerebral he is. We know that he could do it, but does he really want to at this point? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But to be able to come back here where I think he really enjoyed the city, it's no secret that Mike Tomlin was one of the reasons he came here. Well, if there was another coach for him to play for, I would assume it's Mike that he would want to play for. I assume it's Mike McCarthy. There's been some what's been made of their relationship. Only they know. Sometimes people put on a great front. Oh no, we're great. We have all these great things. Only they know. So if he doesn't come back, maybe there's something more there that we didn't know about. But for him to come back and know this offense, I assume it's something that he could just snap right back into. And I could see him wanting to come back. But if he doesn't, you know what? Mike McCarthy's got some young guys here, and Will Howard that I'm excited for whenever that time comes, that Mike McCarthy can I think, get ready to play.
Ben, you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. Like, some people wanted the full reset, and Mike McCarthy obviously brings with him, you know what you're going to get. He can do the job. It's a high floor. Aaron Rodgers, again, obviously, he can do the job. I've made the argument, and Willie hated the idea, like the last time they had a losing season in Pittsburgh, they drafted you. You go 6-10, you get Ben Rothlesberger, 15 wins and a Super Bowl. You go 1-13 in Pittsburgh, you get Terry Bradshaw, you win 4 Super Bowls. Do you think the Steelers organization has the appetite for the full rebuild, for taking a step back to eventually take a big step forward?
I think rebuild is like this big word in Pittsburgh. You don't use that word, rebuild. Well, then let's use a different word. Let's just call it, let's start building. I mean, listen, I think the other thing to think about too is people say that the Steelers roster is an old roster. And I think that's said because the kind of the leaders or the stars are older, right? Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Aaron Rodgers, kind of Alex Bosworth, things like that. But the rest of the guys around it, you start looking at guys like Jack Sawyer, Nick Herbig, some of the line. They got a good young line that I kind of like right now. That I would really add a few pieces to that. Like, I still think you can never have enough depth at line. I would add pieces to that, but I think that you've got some, Ramsey, right? You've got guys in there that are veterans, but if you look at this roster, there's like a really good group of that year 2 to 5 that I think is really important. And I know so many teams, and I've said this a bunch of times now, that teams, I think nowadays, they want to get a quarterback and then they want to build around that quarterback. I think it should be the other way around. I think you should build a team to plug a quarterback into, because then you can see how it works. That's what happened to me. Listen, when I got to Pittsburgh, there was veteran guys, there was a great offensive line, great defense. The team was ready. And the only reason I played was because Tommy Maddox got hurt. And there's nothing against Tommy. They had a good quarterback too, and the Tommy gun and all that kind of thing. But I was able to get thrown into an offense and a full team that was ready to go. So why not do that right now? Let's build this team up with again, I know Will Howard 6th round. People are like, oh, what do you get in the 6th round? Well, you can get Tom Brady, you can get Brock Purdy, you can get some players. Why not give him a shot? And what's the worst case scenario? You're building a team without paying a quarterback all that money, so you can build this big team around him, plug him in. If it doesn't work, you're going to get a higher draft pick, 2, 3, 4 years from now.
7, Mike T decided to step away. Do you see him ever coaching again?
He's still young, man. I could see him getting to the booth a little, not the booth, but maybe the pregame shows. I can't see him calling games, but maybe the pregame shows. And I think his love, as you know, his love for football it burns bright, and I could see him getting back into it. I know I made some waves earlier this year when I talked about him taking the Penn State job, but he's such a, as you know, Willie, he's such a he's a recruiter, right? He can go into the office. Could you see him going into a house and recruiting the mom, the grandma, the dad? I mean, he's gonna be so good at that, and he's done it. He's won a Super Bowl here. He's never had a losing season in the NFL, unless it's a really good I could see him coming back if the team was ready to go. Just need that one more step to get to a Super Bowl or something like that. Because honestly, when you've had 18 or 19 winning seasons in a row, where's there really to go? And I don't think he'll come back to a rebuild or a new team. So I could see him either coming back to a team that's just needs that little push over the edge, or going to a big time college program and showing what he can do down there and trying to win a national championship. Maybe Hofstra. Oh wait.
Oh, okay. We're trying to be nice here. You just had to throw that one out there.
You guys can use him. That'd be a good hire. Ben, and by the way, our jobs are easy. You know it now with the podcast. Mike Tomlin would be pretty good on TV. He'd be pretty good.
He'd be great. He would be.
Wanted to ask you about the news of the day. Your candidacy is up, obviously, next year, but it's been reported that Bill Belichick, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're shaking your head. What'd you make when you saw the story?
I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, if I don't even know how to respond to it. Is there a did they have to give a reason? Like what? Because he's still it makes no sense to me. If Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Fame coach, what is? Are you gonna tell me Tom Brady's not gonna? That'd be like saying, okay, Tom's not a first ballot guy too. I just don't. There's got to be something. They miscounted, or it's like a election fraud or something. I don't get it. That's stupid. It's ridiculous. What do you need? What's the requirements?
You don't think the most Super Bowls and most playoff wins ever was enough? You don't think that was enough?
I mean, goodness gracious. But I don't know.
Well,
whatever.
Sticking with those Patriots, you won a Super Bowl in year 2. Drake Maye has the opportunity to potentially do that. What advice, if any, would you give to a guy like Drake Maye in this position that you've kind of already experienced?
Yeah, I think he's got a chance to break my youngest quarterback record that's been running for a long, long time now, which I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for him, but I'm not rooting for the Patriots because then they passed the Steelers on the list of most Super Bowls. So I'm kind of torn there. But I think the advice that I would give him is just let the game come to you. If you try and do too much, you can really get yourself in a pickle. And I think he's been playing so well right now, and he utilizing his legs, and I think that's where he can kind of shine. Is listen, if it's not there, take off and let your legs be the catalyst to get you that first down or whatever. And as the game kind of comes to him, he just seems to keep playing better and better. So it'll be exciting to see what he has to bring, and against a really good defense in Seattle, obviously.
7, I got to ask, man, this has been the year of the resurgence of old quarterbacks. If Mike McCarthy called, could Big Ben Roethlisberger said, hey, you know what, Coach, if you need me, I'll pull up for you. You got one more in you?
You mean to watch a practice or something? Some information? Listen,
could you go out there and sling it?
Oh, yeah, my arm could work all day. I could throw the ball all over the field, but I can't move. So as long as I don't have to move, I'm good.
Right.
Did it amaze you? I mean, Rivers, Rodgers, these are your contemporaries, man. Does it amaze you?
It is. Philip really kind of surprised me. I mean, I know Philip's a year. We're the same draft class, but he's a year older. I think Aaron's a year younger. And I'm just man, there's no way. I love the game, but I love my family too much to get back out there.
Right.
That's why, people are why don't you go into coaching? Because I love my family and I want to be with my family. And that's it's too much time, one. And two, that you can't tell me that at some point Philip wasn't like, man, this hurts. Like you guys know, like the body hurts when you get done, and at 40 it takes longer to like get right. Like it's already sometimes, you're into Friday before you're like kind of back on board. Like, man, I don't know. Even like my wife, because they joked obviously when Bo Nix got hurt, there were a lot of people talking about Denver. My wife's like, could you do one game? And I'm like, no, I don't even think I can give you one. It hurts to watch.
Hey Ben, I don't know how you got anything done with Willie Colon as a teammate, and you did a lot of winning. You got a best Willie story that's safe for TV?
Nope. I was going to say not for TV. No, that's my brother. I love that guy more than anything. There's few guys that you come across that, and I was blessed to have a bunch of them. But Willie Colon and Marquise Pouncey, I put kind of in a special category of guys that I love, and that, and please, Willie, take this with so much love, because I say all the time, right? I'll take a lineman with less talent and more heart than more talent, less heart. Willie had more heart than anybody I know, and he would go to battle for you. I always knew that I could start any fight I wanted because Willie was right there to finish the fight for me if I had to, a little push and shove. And so that's my guy. I love him to death, and I'd do anything for him.
Love you too, brother.
Keep working on that muffin top, brother.
Ben, thank you so much for joining us here on The Overtime. Thank you, sir.
Anything for Billy.
Thanks, Evan.
See you guys.
Welcome back to the OT. The Patriots are back in the Super Bowl. It took them a whole 7 years to get back. Not that long of a wait. Some credit the MVP quarterback play, some the defense, some the luck of a soft schedule, and the injury to Bo Nix. Mike Vrabel and the team is hearing the disrespect, but they're not really caring about it. Willie, I'll start with you here. Patriots lucky to be in the Super Bowl? Think it's fair?
I don't think it's lucky. I also think it's tired. If I'm going into this game, this would be one of those bulletin board materials that I'm kind of stamping to kind of prove that we belong here. I mean, they went through 3 top 5 defenses to get here. You know what I mean? Like that's not luck. They had to show up, and I think they're peaking at the right time, especially defensively. I mean, defensively, they only allowed 26 points through 3 games in the playoffs. And I think for right now, you have to be happy with the way Drake Maye has developed and continues to develop. You have to be happy with the defense, and you have to be happy that this team has embodied the Patriot way and embodied their head coach and Mike Vrabel as far as being tough, disciplined, and scrappy. So for me, that would fire me up, honestly, going into this game. I would be very ornery with any time that type of narrative came around me.
What about you, Greg?
Yeah, you don't fall into the Super Bowl by luck, by chance. Mm-hmm. You know what? It just happened. We just got here. No, you earned the right to play in that game, and that's what they did. Going through the regular season, the narrative was their schedule. Oh, they haven't played anybody. Then we wanted to see how they fared with the best. The best 7 teams make it on both sides. They've gotten through the 3, and now they're the final one standing. So and to your point, the defenses that they played, that was a question that we had. Well, they haven't faced any of these defenses. The Chargers, and then it was like, well, they haven't faced any defenses like the Houston Texans. Right. They executed, and then we start to pick and prod at the idea of what didn't happen on the other teams, and it's like we're discrediting what they were defensively and what they turned and evolved into. Like, give the team credit. They've earned the right to play in this Super Bowl. They understand that. But to your point, Willie, yeah, man, we're going to put this on this. Yep. We're gonna remind ourselves this is how they feel about us. Mm-hmm. We don't deserve to be here. We know differently because we're in the locker room. But, yeah, they've earned the right to play in this Super Bowl.
So you can make the argument that Seattle was lucky because San Francisco was injured, right? And so everyone has circumstances here. What I will say is, if the Patriots get blown out in the Super Bowl to Seattle, retroactively, there will be an argument of how good were they if they beat that easy of a schedule and in the AFC Championship game got the fortune of playing a backup quarterback. But if they win the Super Bowl, history won't remember it. They'll just be champions.
Right.
Like, in the moment as I sit here, right, Drake Maye has 6 fumbles in the playoffs. They've lost 3, they've recovered 3. That doesn't scream luck to me. It's like that's
what it is.
It's about what it's supposed to be. But playing a backup quarterback in the AFC title game is lucky. Playing the easiest schedule of any playoff team in 25 years, that is lucky. That doesn't mean that they are lucky to be in the Super Bowl, but they have had an easier path than many teams before them. Is that fair?
You can't choreograph your circumstances.
Correct.
It is what it is. That's 1, 2. They also didn't start hot. This team was 1-2. They lost to the Steelers, right? And so there was questions coming out of that
Raiders
game.
too.
Right. There was questions coming out of that game. If Drake Maye is legit, if this defense is ever going to arrive, did Mike Vrabel becoming the head coach, is this too much of a task? They answered all of that. The one lucky thing they did, well, they were able to kind of avoid was a catastrophic injury, like what happened to Joe Burrow when he was with Bengals. Outside of that, they earned it all.
Yeah. I'm changing a rule next. Time now for first things last. The NFC Championship game was almost marred by the worst penalty in professional sports: taunting. Pro athletes should not be penalized for taunting, talking trash, or showing up their opponent. That's right. I have the audacity to say taunting should be legal in pro sports. To be clear, because people have a spectacular ability to miss the point, given that I am not in charge of everything and taunting is against the rules, Tariq Woolen deserved to be penalized. The ref did everything in his power not to throw the flag, given the enormity of the moment. He gave him a warning, he gave him time, Woolen kept going at the Rams sideline, so the ref had to throw the flag. He should just never be in that position. Now allow me to address some of the inevitable responses. So you're excusing everything? Of course not. Punching your opponent, spitting on your opponent, or other egregious acts are what unsportsmanlike conduct penalties are for, and those of course should exist. And guess what? If celebrations get so excessive that they delay the next play from occurring, good news. We have delay of game penalties for that. Now you'll say, what happened to Barry Sanders scoring a touchdown and graciously handing the ball to the ref? Good for Barry Sanders. You could prefer that, just like I could prefer waiting to see what Terrell Owens was going to do next. We should have less hate in the world and more hate in sports. Trash talk is good for the game. It builds rivalries and generates interest. Ben Johnson disliking Matt LaFleur and saying so is good for the Bears-Packers rivalry. It deserves applause, not pearl clutching. And finally, my favorite, the classic, oh, won't someone please think of the children? It is not the job of pro athletes to raise our kids. I'm a father of 2 young boys. It is my job to teach my sons that if they bat flip in Little League, there might be consequences. It is my job to teach my sons to play by the rules, to shake the other team's hand. And if they want to taunt and talk trash, they can do that when they get paid millions of dollars to play the game on TV. But until then, to just play with good sportsmanship and have fun. Pro sports is professional entertainment, where the only goal should be to win the game. If you don't want a cornerback like Tariq Woolen to taunt you, then there is a very simple solution. Catch the ball. That's all I've got. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on the OT. Thanks to Ben Rothlesberger for joining. We're back tomorrow.